All right, let's dive into a skill that, believe it or not, literally shapes your reality and determines just how effective you are in the world. We're talking about the power of articulate speech.
Now, that's a pretty intense way to start, right? Dangerous? What does that even mean? Well, it's not about being malicious or evil. It means you're potent, you're effective, you are a force to be reckoned with. You're someone whose ideas are so clear, so powerful, that they simply cannot be ignored.
You know, the origin of the word articulate gives us this incredible metaphor. Think about your own joints, like your knee or your elbow. Because they're articulated, you can move with precision and grace. If they were just one big solid bone, you'd be incredibly clumsy. Well, speech is exactly the same. Articulate speech isn't just a jumbled mess of ideas. It's the ability to make those fine, clear distinctions, to move through the world of thought with real power and grace.
So you might be thinking, okay, this is for, public speakers, writers, academics, but the source material is crystal clear on this. This is a vital skill for absolutely everyone, in every single profession you can imagine.
Yes, a plumber. And this example just blows the lid off the idea that this is some high-minded academic skill. It shows that for any professional, your words can be a way more powerful tool than your wrench. This is about pure, real-world competence. Let's break down what that actually looks like.
Just look at this list. An articulate plumber, they can negotiate better prices. They can explain a really complex plumbing problem to a client so they actually understand it. They can advocate for their employees, think strategically about growing their business. They aren't just fixing pipes anymore. They are absolutely firing on all cylinders. That's the difference between just having a job and building a truly successful career.
And if you think, well, that's just for civilian life, think again. The source brings up Jocko Willink, a former special operations soldier. I mean, this is a man who is the very definition of a warrior, operating in the most high-stakes environments on the planet, and even he will tell you his effectiveness was massively dependent on his ability to communicate.
So get this. It was his articulation that allowed him to truly listen to his team, to explain the chaos on the ground to his superiors, and to think through a strategy so he wouldn't lose battles and get his people killed. Being articulate wasn't some separate skill from being a warrior. It was a core part of what made him so competent at the highest level.
And that brings us to a pretty stark choice. The source material really doesn't pull any punches here. When it comes to how you communicate, you are actively choosing between two very different paths with every single word you speak.
I mean, the choice could not be clearer. On one side, you've got competent and dangerous. You are a force to be reckoned with, the embodiment of grace. And on the other side, vague and useless, awkward, unable to convince anyone of anything, unable to even formulate a coherent strategy for yourself. Those are the options on the table.
And here's the thing. When you choose not to develop this skill, you're not just being neutral. You are actively choosing awkwardness. You're choosing to fill your sentences with like, and basically stumbling through your own thoughts. You are choosing to be unable to share your vision with the world and get other people excited about helping you build it. You're choosing to be ineffective.
Okay, so we get it. The stakes are really high. But the big question is, how do we actually do this? How do we become more articulate? Well, thankfully, the source gives us a really practical guide. The source offers this incredibly powerful metaphor. I want you to picture this for a second. You're standing at the edge of a murky swamp. You know there's a path of solid stones under the water, but you can't see it clearly.
So what do? You don't just plunge in and hope for the best. No, you carefully, tentatively, feel with your foot for that next solid stone. You test it, and only when you feel that solid ground under you do you commit your weight and take a step.
And that is exactly how you should find your words. You have to feel for them. Pause. Search for the word that feels solid, the one that feels true, the one that when you say it makes you feel integrated and strong, not weak and ashamed. That's how you find your authentic voice.
So this gives us some real actionable steps you can start today. First, pay attention. I mean, really listen to the words that are actually coming out of your own mouth. Second, get rid of those filler words. Stop with the ums, the ahs, the likes. Learn to love the pause. It makes you sound thoughtful. Third, read. Just absorb the work of great writers. It builds your vocabulary and your sense of rhythm. Fourth, write. Force yourself to articulate your own thoughts on the problems that you can't stop thinking about. And finally, and this is maybe the most important step of all, practice speaking truthfully. Align your words with who you actually are.
But here's the thing. These practical steps, they're not just some self-improvement checklist.
They are the training for something so much bigger. The source argues that by taking control of your words, you're not just learning a skill, you are embarking on a deep moral endeavor, maybe even the true adventure of your life.
Now, this is a pretty profound idea. Our entire culture is basically built on the concept that it is the word, logos, that creates habitable order out of chaos. So by mastering your own tongue, by striving for that articulate, truthful speech, you're actually taking part in that divine creative act. You're making the word divine in your own life.
And this brings us to a really fundamental question you have to consider for yourself. The source poses it directly. If you reject this idea, if you don't believe that carefully chosen, truthful words are what create order and meaning in the world, then what do you believe does? It's a question really worth sitting with for a while. So, the final takeaway here is a challenge. It's a call to action. Take this endeavor seriously. Stop choosing to be vague and useless. Go all in. Go all in on becoming articulate. And just see what happens. See what happens to your life, to your career, and to your soul when you do.